Imagine having the perfect life, a loving family, good health, and everything is going well. Then I gradually began to notice changes, significant changes, in my husband's cognition and memory abilities.
I think initially and most commonly was memory loss of conversations that we've had and things that were mentioned, but him not being able to recall.
I think we went in 2012, maybe. My dad and I took a trip to Morocco. I don't think he was officially diagnosed then, but I definitely could tell like little things on that trip on how he was interacting at the airport counters and not being able to understand a lot of things on the menu. And I felt more like a parent role in a little bit because I was always just making sure he was okay and making sure he was keeping up with the group.
The biggest thing was he came to South Florida to help me move. I was moving at the time from South Florida to Texas. And that's when I really, really noticed. Because my sister and I started to get the idea that maybe there was some form of dementia, some sort of cognitive impairment going on.
It's okay, he's here. But then you start to see little things, you're like, wow, he's a different person, he's changing. And yes, it's the person there, but it's simply also not there.
Getting a diagnosis can be challenging.
We did go through a few different physicians along the way simply because of different plans, covered different things. And we ended up seeing about 2 different neurologists actually over the course of the time of the treatment and assessment. But in the end, the official diagnosis was made right around in 2015. So it seemed to be like a 1 to 2 year process really to get through that whole workup.
Now you say hi, thank you.
Hi, thank you. It's Earl
For my birthday.
for my birthday.
It's okay to be overwhelmed by the diagnosis. You can be filled with various emotions.
I wasn't saying too much in the process of trying to find out what was really going on. The main reason was because of respect for my husband. He's always been a very private person and would always use caution about how much I was saying, so I was really spinning off of that. I start racing ahead, going forward. Okay, what is this really going to mean? That's just kind of like my natural reaction. Okay, this is what it is. Fast forward, what it's going to be like. So I think a little bit of fear, the uncertainty, a little bit of just nervousness, anxiousness.
All of that was very overwhelming and scary because it's like, what were we about to go on now? Because, it's a big deal and it's a progressive disease. So it was really kind of scary.
Beforehand, I'd see him off and on, but then it's just like really, I guess this was a point of me just really getting to know him. It's kind of like, well, he has dementia and is not the same person.
It is okay and necessary to ask for help. This journey you are about to begin will require support.
I think by me kind of going through that process, I processed it and gathered the information, and then also trying to honor his preference to be private, I think helped to buy some time to break the news to everyone in a good fashion. I think when I look back, the work and life balance was easier because he was easier to manage. But as I saw more needs for him to increase, we just adjusted accordingly. Whether it be caregivers in the home, daycare center, it was decided that his scope of needs was changing to the point of that it was going to be more that I could handle for a sustainable long period of time. So since he's been at an assisted care home facility, private care home, small group of people, but home-like setting, and I think he may be going through some adjustments, but I think I am also adjusting to him not being here and adjusting that he's also there and making sure that he's still doing okay. So, but at the same time, feeling a little bit of relief or opening up of some opportunities to kind of maybe take a big exhale possibly and decompress a little bit more and pay attention to some of the things that I know that I enjoy but not been able to do.
Imagine being in the process of accomplishing your dreams when one of your parents is diagnosed with dementia. Soon after that, the other parent is diagnosed. Due to the increased care needed for Dad, he was placed in a home, all while pursuing your dreams.
Before, I had a restaurant. I had a gourmet food truck. I had a staff. I traveled a lot. I would travel and go out of town, like on international trips every 4 months.
Symptoms can be subtle and by themselves may seem like nothing, but as they add up, you realize they may be signs of a bigger problem.
Well, around 2015 or so, I brought my parents to California on a vacation. And she seemed like her regular self, her normal self, very active, very outgoing, always really sweet. But there were moments in time, one in particular, where we were sitting in my car, and when we got in the car, she was like, "Oh, this is a very nice car." Thinking, well, that's nice and everything. And I was like, "Mom, we were in the car yesterday. We went, remember we took a drive yesterday?" And she was like, "No, I've never been in this car before." And I thought, wow, what's going on? And then over the course of their visit, I started noticing more and more that she didn't remember, or she was repeating things. Particularly, my mom has always been very focused on maintaining great credit, paying all of her bills on time and everything, paying her utilities, everything, whatever it was. She always wanted to pay credit, utilities, everything on time. And she started forgetting whether or not she'd paid something. And so she would pay it over and over. With this illness, your personality is your personality. If you had a very demonstrative personality, or a very aggressive personality, or a very passive personality, I think it's magnified in this illness. My mom has an identical twin. Her identical twin is perfectly fine, whereas hers has been magnified times 10 the other way. She's always frightened. She's always scared. She's always worried. "Oh, I had a dream that my family," or she's just always, or when you know that she's confused, or I can see fright in her face. And that makes it harder to care for her in a way, because then it diminishes something in you, because it just hurts to see that kind of fear, like to think that she lives her life every day in fear.
When taking care of a family member with Alzheimer's or dementia, finding support is invaluable.
I was getting used to this new dynamic, because not having lived with them, with the disease, with the illness, I didn't know the magnitude. I didn't know how much it was. I got to a breaking point, literally early in, a few weeks in, where I was like, one, I don't think I can do this. Two, I reached out to Alzheimer's LA. I was like, I need help. I came across one of their counselors, Juan, who was like very empathetic and just, was like, "Look, I know, and I know that you sound overwhelmed. You sound like you might be losing your mind at this point." And he was like, it's the end of the year, but or the end of the summer, whatever, but we still have some financial resources. What would it help you out if we got you some hours to hire a caretaker?
Finding activities that both you and your loved one enjoy can have positive effects.
In terms of recreation, they, like I said, I like to keep music going, particularly for Mom, since she's here, keep music going, keep her playing and active.
She has these workout routines every day, and I think she did too much. And you were on the treadmill earlier.
That's right. That's right.
You were on the treadmill earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I got this so she can walk.
Oh, okay.
I used to joke with my friends about one thing I'm never gonna do is I ain't ever bathing my mama. That ain't never gonna happen. And we're still in that stage where she can still manage and take care of those things herself. But I don't really look forward to the day where I might have to do that. I don't really look forward to that.
Reflecting on returning the care that your parents gave to you brings satisfaction to all that you're currently doing.
I feel like maybe maybe the universe had provided this time and provided mom and dad for me to reflect on what I want to do as I get older.
I don't have this problem with none of my sons, I have more sons, don't I?
Yes, ma'am.
No, we get along, I'm a person. I don't like fighting and fussing and arguing and all that kind of stuff. I'm not into that anymore. But we all, we get along pretty good though.
Imagine being a recent college graduate, starting your career, then discovering your mother's forgetfulness is a much bigger problem than you thought.
I work in television. I'm a post-production supervisor, and I've been working in this industry, in the television industry, since 2012. I've been a caregiver for 3 years. My mom was a principal. She was a principal at Sherman Oaks Center for Enriched Studies. She was a principal there for 5 years. She was the first African American principal at that school, and she was the first female principal at that school. She was part of the Los Angeles Unified School District for 35 years, and she was forced into retirement because her memory started to decline. She wasn't really accepting of it. And it broke both of our hearts because I was like, I thought you wanted to work until, 5 years. You wanted to see the kids that you got into Sherman Oaks with graduate from high school.
Adapting to new needs after a diagnosis can be hard as you let go of what was.
My mom had a diagnosis in October that she may have dementia. And so I really didn't know what dementia was. And I was just like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. Cool. I know, at least I know what's going on. But then things started to change from October to December. She paid her mortgage twice in October, and then she paid it 3 times in November. And then we went on a trip to Italy. And my mom was still functioning. She was still talking to me normally. Other than, her paying the mortgage, I figured maybe you forgot or something. I wasn't really, I didn't really know the difference. I didn't really care, I guess. But then we went to Italy and we did great. We were there for 2 weeks for the holiday because it's just me and my mom. And our last day, we were in the airport on our way to come back in the line to board. And my mom said, I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And before she made it to the bathroom, she passed out. And it was frightening. And then we spent the whole day in the airport because the airline canceled us. They wouldn't let us get on the plane. I didn't know what to do. I was, completely lost. And even before that, my mom hid her credit cards. So everything was dependent on my finances. I'm a child. I'm not a child, but I felt like, my mom's going to take care of everything. So everything was dependent on me, and I was freaking out because, of course, I hadn't traveled out of the country in probably 7 years, and I didn't know what to do, so I was losing it. But we got everything settled. We ended up spending almost 18 hours in the airport. We were the last flight out. And once we were getting ready to process and go through booking again to board our aircraft, my mom started to get a little delirious and her dementia really started to show. She even forgot me. She said, what, who are you? Where's my daughter? I can't leave. And it broke my heart. New Year's Day, we came back around the 28th or 29th, and I told everyone I'm moving back home. I'm going to take care of my mom. Something's going on. I don't know what, but I have to be at home. In the transition of me moving back home, there was an itch for me to quit because I just felt like I can't do anything else. My priority is my mom, and I felt like I'm just going to take care of you. Like, we'll figure out how to pay for everything else. But it's hurting me, I feel like, if I continue working. But I'm very grateful because the company that I'm with, they did encourage me to keep working. They say, you know what, you get time off. Like, television is great to a certain extent because you get like a summer break. And they say, you get this summer break, you figure it out then. If you still feel like you can't do it, then we'll figure it out.
It's normal to feel overwhelmed when planning for the future. You need to become educated about the disease and aware of the support needed to care for your family member.
And I said, okay. And in that time, I figured it out. You know, I figured out how to get care, you know, how to take care of myself, how to take care of my mom. If it was hiring a caregiver, then that's what I did. They experienced me moving back home, and they're actually in the middle of experiencing me move my mom out. So I'm so grateful for this company because they've kept me around. She felt like her life was impacting people, and I felt like her life was impacting people.
If you have questions about memory loss, Alzheimer's, or another dementia, call us. Alzheimer's Los Angeles can help with your questions and concerns. 844-HELP-ALZ. That's 844-435-7259.